Is it not wanting to open?
No.
Oh, it's not like an open mode. That's cool. We're gonna be out of town. All right, you ready? You are. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Sorry. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held on August 14th, 2017?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Bev, any persons wishing to address the board? No, thank you. And can I get an approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes. All right, good news report. Deanne.
Good evening. Before I get started, I'd like to invite our friend, Sergeant Osterquist, to come forward here for a moment. The Sioux Falls School District has long enjoyed a valuable partnership with the Sioux Falls Police Department in the School Resource Officer Program. As you know, the primary focus of that program is to provide a safer school environment for our students and our staff. A strong emphasis really continues toward implementing, practicing, and improving the responses to potential crisis situations and hoping that they never do actually occur. The city provides full-time officers to work in our schools on crime prevention, pedestrian safety, bullying, conflict resolution. They also work on juvenile cases, on everything from runaways to thefts, and anything really involving juveniles. Leading the School Resource Officer Program in the past recent years has been Sergeant David Osterquist. He joined the Sioux Falls Police Department in 1993 and devoted 24 years of service to the city of Sioux Falls, with his most recent service as the Sergeant in charge of School Resource Officers. Sergeant Osterquist officially retired from the police department last month. In our attempt to show a bit of appreciation for all the work that he's done to improve our schools, the district would like to present him with a special token of thanks, a pin with the logo of the Sioux Falls School District. And we hope as he wears this pin and looks at it, it reminds him of our gratitude, of his professionalism and commitment to making our schools safer. So congratulations to you on your retirement, Sergeant David Osterquist.
Thank you.
Please stand by because there's more. We also have Lynn Gillette and Richie Hutchinson, the principals and leadership out at McGovern Middle School. While Sergeant Osterquist's service as a law enforcement officer has ended, we are very pleased to let you know that Mr. Osterquist is now an employee of the Sioux Falls School District. He will serve as the behavior facilitator at George McGovern Middle School. One of the key tenets of the School Resource Officer program has always been building relationships with students and staff and also gaining trust. So Mr. Osterquist, we know, will continue that very important work in his new role. So please help me in congratulating him. And he has politely declined to offer comments. So thank you all.
Thank you. Well, I just thank you for all of your service, your years of service. The SRO program in our schools is just invaluable, and the connections and the relationships that you and your team build with students and faculty is just amazing. So I'm thrilled that you're staying on, because that just means we get to use your experience in other ways. So congratulations on your retirement, and congratulations on your new job.
I was just going to add, I was sitting here as you're talking about years and how long you've been, and I was trying to think, how do you even count the number of students and teachers and community members that you have had an impact in that amount of time? And so thank you for that. And then to echo what Kate said, it's awesome that you're going to continue having that positive impact on the students at George McGovern. So thank you very much for the time you've given and the time you have yet to give.
Yes.
I'll add a couple of comments. And number one, it's interesting to see Sergeant Oster. You'll probably always be Sergeant Osterquist to me, out of uniform, but yet I'm so happy to see really you're in uniform now. But so much of what has happened with the SRO program, at least in my 26 months here, I'll track back directly to Sergeant Osterquist and his availability. And I think of the number of things that didn't happen in the district because of proactive work of the Sioux Falls Police Department in general, but of Sergeant Osterquist specifically. And the number of opportunities I had to speak with him late at night many times to de-escalate issues. That help, that guidance, that counseling has been invaluable. My biggest question now is, who's going to talk me off the ledge late at night? So thanks for all of your service, and I too look forward to our new relationship between the school district and yourself.
All right. We had 2 conflicts of interest for our administrators. Everybody have a chance to review? Okay. I'm going to read this. In considering these conflicts of interest as presented, the board has determined that the matter underlying the contract is fair, reasonable, and not contrary to the public interest, and that it is appropriate to grant a prospective general waiver for any substantially similar contracts or transactions between the time of the authorization and the next annual disclosure date. A motion was made by
So moved.
Second. Carly, and seconded by Cynthia. And I guess we'll take a vote. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Right, all 5 yes on, do I need to do a roll call? No. Okay. Approving waivers for conflict of interest from district administrators and directing the administration to send the waivers to the South Dakota Auditor General and the South Dakota Attorney General pursuant to SDCL Chapter 3-23. And that's it. Okay. Give this to Tom, thanks. All right, can I get an approval of the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And then let's look at 9, supplemental consent agenda, item 9A, claims to Sanford Health.
So moved. Second.
Right, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, that motion passes with 2 abstentions from Board Member Mickelson and Board Member Ryder. And can I get an approval for supplemental consent agenda item 9B?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that passes with 1 abstention from Board Member Mickelson. All right, on to the reports of the superintendent.
We have 3 reports to come your way tonight. The first report is a report of Joe Foss and the President's Academy, and it will be presented tonight by our secondary curriculum coordinator, Kristen Grenhager.
Good evening. The Joe Foss program is customized to provide a pathway to accommodate students who are significantly off pace for earning a high school diploma with their cohort group. Students engage in computer-based instruction and writing activities and projects. During the 2016-17 school year, 498 students enrolled in the program at Joe Foss. Of the 498 students, 150 completed their high school diplomas, 156 remain actively enrolled in the program, 39 students left the Joe Foss program to re-enroll in their high school or to attend a different alternative pathway, and another 153 students left the program for various reasons. Table A shows the comparison of the program since it was implemented in 2011. This year, 150 students graduated, and those graduates had a 69% attendance rate and earned an average of 4.5 credits. The number of graduates has risen the past 2 years, and of the 150 graduates, 97 were in the 2017 cohort. Table B shows the comparison of the number of students who enrolled at Joe Foss each year for the past 6 years. In 2016-17, 498 students were enrolled, 150 students graduated, and 156 students remained enrolled. This gave a percentage of 61% of students who either graduated or remained enrolled at Joe Foss. President's Academy is also housed at Axtell Park. President's Academy provides an opportunity for secondary ELL students whose education has been interrupted. It provides them with an opportunity to earn a high school diploma. Part of their day is also devoted to English language acquisition. Students receive teacher-led instruction in small and large groups, do independent practice, collaborate, are provided with enrichment activities and one-on-one instruction in a technology-rich environment. A total of 102 students were enrolled in President's Academy during the 2016-17 school year. At the end of the year, 34 students remained enrolled, 23 students graduated, and 45 withdrew from the program. Table C shows the number of graduates, the average student attendance, and the average number of credits earned for the past 4 years. Both the average attendance rate and number of credits increased this past year. In 2016-17, a total of 618 courses were offered and 309 credits were earned by students enrolled in President's Academy. The cost per student at Joe Foss is $3,090 per slot, and the cost at President's Academy is $4,188 per slot. The per-student cost does not exceed the per-student allocation received from the state via the state aid formula. Are there any questions about President's Academy or Joe Foss?
We know approximately how many students might be enrolled for this upcoming school year?
At this point, we anticipate it will be a similar number. Mhm. We'll have better numbers after next week.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I remember a couple years ago, we got to go see the President's Academy in action, and it was really interesting to see people working, whether it was independently or sometimes it was, in small groups or classes, but it was nice to see that really individualized education plan for those students to help them to graduate. So I hope the people who are in that category continue to take advantage of that to get their diploma.
Typically, I think our ELL students really see the value of education and work hard to receive that
Yeah.
diploma.
Just looking at the difference in attendance, you have 80% attendance at the President's Academy compared to the 69% at Joe Foss. So that was one of the things I was thinking too, their value of education.
Any other questions?
All right, then I'd ask you to acknowledge the results of the Joe Foss and President's Academy.
Can I get a
Thank you.
Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, that passes.
Okay, our second report tonight is a fall of 2017 staffing update. This update comes to you from our Director of Human Resources, Becky Dorman.
Thank you. Good evening. With school starting in just over a week, I'm happy to report that all of our teachers are hired, knock on wood, and we're coming along very nicely with our classified staff. We're actually ahead of where we were last year, so that's some great stuff to report. This evening, I'm just going to bring you a synopsis of really what our hiring pool looked like this year, how our staffing looks with the new folks that we're bringing on board this fall. We have hired 144 new teachers starting, they started last week. About half are at the elementary, and then the remaining half are split pretty much between middle and high school. And this is a customary split. We're used to seeing these numbers. Now, meeting our new teachers, about half of them are brand new to the profession. 70% of them have fewer than 5 years of teaching experience. That's not unusual. We do hire a younger crew of staff. And then 85% of them have probably been to Wall Drug, or at least they know all about it. So they come from South Dakota. The other 15%, Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska. And that's historically the way things typically look. Now, over the past 5 years, we've hired about 179 teachers, but that would be from the start of the school year to the end of the school year. So I anticipate that our 144 will creep up there a little higher as we perhaps it would increase staff depending on some caseloads, or we have mid-year turnover. Now, looking at the staff that support our schools in other ways than teaching, on our website right now, we have about 44 support staff that we still need, and we've hired 100 so far, so we're sitting at a good spot. And then we're also working away at our substitute teaching staff. By later this fall, we'll need to have about 250 more substitute teachers hired to fill our pool, and that would be teachers and education assistants. Social media and any online platform are very popular for us. It's cost effective and an efficient way to share information. Our applicants say they get most of their information about our jobs from the district's website or referrals from employees, and that can be word of mouth, or you probably noticed if you're a Facebook user that we use Facebook quite a bit. So when you do see our ads out there, if you share them, that helps spread the word. So we get a lot of feedback from our Facebook ads. And then also Indeed.com picks up a lot of our ads, and staff are seeing those messages there. To enhance our postings that we do on our website, our community education department has created several videos for us, and it just helps us better explain what's going on in our schools, the type of staff members we're looking for, and the positive experiences that our employees have had. It's a great way for applicants to visualize themselves in a role with the Sioux Falls School District. In recruitment, our focus continues to be building relationships with applicants. One of the great ways we do that is getting our principals and instructional coaches involved in the hiring process, in the recruitment process. So we'll have a math and science night where we bring in principals. It's an open house format. Anyone that's interested in teaching math and science shows up, and we hold interviews and have some really great conversations. We also take advantage of the very skilled student teachers in our schools and have principals recruit our student teachers as well to become contract teachers. We do some very early interviewing so that principals start having conversations with applicants and get to know them a little bit more than just what's on a piece of paper. And then later, when they have an actual vacancy in their building, they may call them up for an interview because they've already established that relationship. And we have brought our instructional coaches on board now to do a little bit of recruiting for us. They go to the colleges and talk about the unique supports that our professional development through instructional coaching can provide. Now, looking at our applicant pool, from January to August, we had just over 1,000 applicants pursue a position. This is down from 1,100 that we had the year prior, so that is something that we're going to watch to make sure that that trend does not continue. Out of our applicant pool, 75% are from South Dakota and 91% are from the Midwest. Not a surprise there. 85% of the candidates in our applicant pool have 5 years or less of experience. We're already planning for next recruitment season. It's a process that never stops. We know that we share our 1,000 applicants with the rest of the Midwest, so we have to make sure that we are still appealing to those looking to work in the Midwest. We're going to continue to focus on our shortage areas of special education, fine arts, and physics and math, physics and chemistry. And then we're going to continue to involve our stakeholders in finding the most high-quality candidates that we can find. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, and I ask that you acknowledge the 2017 staffing report.
Right, can I get a motion and a second, please? So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
It's a big job. So thank you for managing that year round. 'Cause like you said, it's not like you just, oh, good, the school year started and we can take a deep breath. You know, you're continuing to hire for this year, but you're also looking ahead to the following year too, and looking at where those holes might be. So, you know, there's lots of important people in our schools, but our teachers have such an impact on our students that we really do want to have the best and brightest in all of our classrooms. So thank you for your efforts in making that happen.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, that passes.
Okay, our third report tonight is the fiscal year 17 financial wrap-up. Business Manager Veek will present that information.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be able to present the wrap-up for the FY17. Of course, this process, as you'll remember, started way back in November of 2015 when we started budgeting, and we're just about ready to close up now, and our final action will be in December when you see the audit report. So it's about a 2-year process. Well, we always talk about our tax-supported funds, I think. can see those. The general fund, capital outlay, special ed, pension and bond redemption. As you know, the pension and bond redemption are essentially defunct. We're just closing those out. We do get some late tax revenues throughout the time that come in there, and we have to budget for that and then transfer that over to the general fund. So that's what's going on with those two funds. So we're essentially down to 3 tax-supported funds now where there's a lot of activity. It's the general fund, the capital outlay fund, and the special ed fund. In the general fund, you can see our revenues came in about 817,000 to the good. That's this number right here. In the capital outlay fund, our revenues were about the exact same number, 815,000 to the good. And in special ed, they were 476,000 under budgeted. Now the reason for that is they actually came in to the good, but we had budgeted approximately $3 million of one-time federal revenue, and we ended up only accessing 2 million of it to leave some of that available. So that actually is a positive as well. On the expenditure side, a little bit over. We came in almost right at budget for the general fund, 660,000 under budget. Capital outlay, 638 under budget, and special ed, $1 million, almost 1.1 million under budget. So you can see probably the most important part of that is this variance. We budgeted $3.3 million in the general fund of spending into the fund balance. We actually spent $1.8 million into the fund balance. In capital outlay, we budgeted $2.3 million of fund balance. We spent $860 into it. And then in special ed, we budgeted 1.7 million in, we spent $1.1 million in, but then again, there was $1 million of federal that we didn't claim that we had originally planned to, or it would have been basically right on the number. So our fund balance summary for those 3 funds, look at right here. And you see our general fund balance is 14.7 million. Last year it was 16.6. That is a percentage of 8.7%. As you recall, the Finance Action Network asked us to be right around 8.5, take or give maybe half a point. So we're basically there now. We've been above that for years. That's kind of been our target. That's where we're at. Our 2017 estimate when we prepared the budget was we'd be at 12.1 million, so we're actually above that. We're at 14.7. Our estimate as of February was about 15.8. We're not quite at that, but we're about $1 million higher than we had estimated in the capital outlay fund. That's could maybe offset each other if we chose to have to do that in the road, because you have some funding flexibility with the capital outlay fund and in the general fund, and we don't take all of that flexibility. So as we prepare, as we look at our budget plan and at our capital outlay plan for the next year, we'll have some flexibility there on how much we want to offset that if we do at all. Again, we're better off than what was estimated last year when we prepared the budget, but it wasn't quite as high as we thought it would be in March, and that was kind of because we finally settled on the negotiations and we had the deal with SDRS worked out, and we didn't know exactly how that was going to turn out when we were projecting that. On special ed, we're at about 12%, 11.6. The state allows 25% there, nowhere near that. That SPED fund is actually pretty stable, so I think we're in good shape there. So that would normally be the gist of this wrap-up report, but I want to show you a couple other handouts. This was from the state after the school funding bill was passed, about a year and a half ago now, in the 2016 session, and they set some accountability targets for the state, and this is ours for Sioux Falls. The 2 check marks are kind of the areas that apply, so we have to, as part of that reporting package now to the state, we have to report how we did on that. So this is kind of a wrap up of where we ended up for the year on teacher salaries and meeting those requirements. Our average teacher salary in FY16 was $46,663. That was the year before. In FY17, we ended up at 51,031. That was a 9.4% increase, fairly substantial. Our statutory targets for FY17 weren't actually about the average salary, but it was average total teacher compensation, which of course includes benefits as well. So we had a gross amount we had to hit, and then we had a per FTE amount we had to hit. So our target was 103.3 million. Our actual was 108.1. Made that pretty easily. And then our average teacher compensation was 67,255 was the target. We made that pretty easily as well, 68,394. So I think overall we did pretty well on meeting the intent of that law.
Could you provide that sheet and that other one that is in our packet to
Sure.
us as well? That'd be
Yep.
awesome, Todd. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is basically the end of my report. I would stand by for questions. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Todd?
Nice job, Todd.
Yeah, good news.
It's a team effort.
Nice job, group.
Yeah.
Places that didn't hit their target, so.
I just think that by us not spending further into the fund balance on the general fund, that keeps us at that 8.7%, which for me is more of a comfort level. If we had gone down to where we projected, we'd have been, at about 7.5%? And that's just running a little tighter than I think we ought to. The special ed fund staying at that 11% is half of what the state allows, and we provide excellent service to our students, and the salary marks were $1,000 over what we needed to be with average pay for total compensation for our teachers. I think that's admirable, and we're trying to raise the bar, and that's what the legislature asked us to do, and clearly you have done with you and the team what needed to be done. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good report, very good report.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. I get a motion and a second to approve the FY17 financial wrap-up.
So moved.
Second.
Right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. And that passes. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Just one,
Sorry.
well, at our last meeting, we didn't, should have congratulated Board Member Tulke on being coronated. No, what was it? You were president of Associated School Boards of South Dakota. I think it's been more than 20 years since we had a Sioux Falls School Board member who was president of the Associated School Boards, and congratulations to you, and appreciate your hard work on for the Sioux Falls School District, but also statewide. So congratulations.
Thank you. Hopefully, we'll represent you proudly.
All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So move.
We're adjourned. Thank you.